Welcome to this month's presentation. Don't miss out on any of our club updates or exciting content. Be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel and follow us on Facebook. By joining our online communities, you'll stay informed about upcoming events, technical tips, and club news. Check out our website for more details. Subscribe and follow today so you never miss a moment of our growing amateur radio adventures. Now, back to our program.
Okay, well, good deal. Good evening, everybody. Again, my name's Bill, K5LK, over in Brookshire, and I'm going to give an overview of Winterfield Day tonight, and also going to talk a little bit about Crossroads participation in it. So hope we enjoy it. It'll be an informal presentation, and hope we get some good comments. Until a few years ago, I never knew about Winterfield Day. I just knew about Field Day as a ham radio operator, and now we've got, for several years, we have a summer field day and a winter field day. We're going to talk about both of them, but primarily the winter field day, that's what the topic's about tonight. And then Crossroads, we're actually going to do our first winter field day, so we're going to talk about that and opportunities for more club volunteers to participate. So we'll look forward to a great evening here. Okay, let me switch over to what we're going to talk about. I'm going to spend just a minute talking about Winter Field Day, just give kind of an overview of it. And then, as I mentioned, we're going to compare it to Summer Field Day. Summer Field Day and ham radio has been around for many, many decades, almost 100 years already. And we'll talk about the main differences. And then we'll go a little more detail about Winter Field Day and how Crossroads is going to participate. Again, as I mentioned, our first Winter Field Day on Saturday, January the 24th at George Bush Park in West Houston. And then we're going to look at an event summary form here that we turn in once we get our logs. And you can see Winter Field Day is much different than Summer Field Day as far as the different multipliers and so forth. It's pretty cool. Then we'll briefly talk about a little flyer. Crossroads is going to have a little web page. We already put that up. Bill number one, and the help of Brenda has put up a little web page that we can show and learn about it, and then we'll have Q&A. So we'll keep it pretty informal. Okay, on the next slide here, Winterfield Day overview. The inaugural event was held in January of 2007. About 18 years ago, so it's relatively new compared to Summerfield days. We'll find out in a minute. And it was sponsored by SPAR. They're called the Society for the Preservation of Amateur Radio. I never heard them. I did a little more research. So there's a group of folks that wanted to be sure that ham radio carries on for many, many, many years. So they said, hey, let's do a winter field day. In 2015, the actual Winter Field Day Association was formed, and that's the one we have today. Again, the first event was in 2007, and in 2022, they had a new board of directors took over, and the latest results that I saw online, they processed around 2,500 logs. So pretty good there, only being a 5-year event, starting... No, it'd be a little longer than that. That'd be 15 years. My apologies. So it's not as active as Summerfield Day, but we'll talk about that in just a minute. This is K5LK with the TechNet here at Crossroads. Then as you see here, 3 core principles of the Winter Field Day Association. Natural disasters are unpredictable, can strike when you least expect them. Boy, do we know that here on the Gulf Coast, for sure. And most recently, just Hurricane Beryl that came through Matagorda Bay a couple of years ago and up toward Houston. But our training as amateur radio operators should not be limited to fair weather scenarios. That is really a big thing for them in the winter field day. You can see some of the winter storms that have been going on in the U.S. here. And the preparedness is the key to professional and timely response during any event. You don't want to go out and offer communication support if you've never done it before. So that's pretty much what Winterfield Day is about from their core principles. You see here I have a picture of the original and the current board members. I think the original is there was 5 guys that started that association. and then now they're up to, I think, about 8. And one of them that we probably all recognize, some of us, is Jason, KC5HWB up in the Grapevine area. He actually was doing a reach hitter. He was actually doing a YouTube there a couple of months ago and had the crossroads on it, as a matter of fact. So that was pretty cool. So they're very active, easy to get along with, and they're really a fun group of guys. All right, on the next slide here, we're going to compare the Winterfield Day over on the right side to Summerfield Day on the left side. Again, as we mentioned, the Summerfield Day, and that's sponsored by ARRL, and it began way back in 1933. And I did a little research on that. There's some pictures back in the 30s and the 40s of some summer field day activities. Man, it's pretty awesome to say the least. Winterfield Day is more recent, began in 2007, so quite a difference. And then the Summerfield Day, the last full weekend in June every year. We did ours down in Louise here, Crossroads. I think we've done them, 3 or 4 years now, I believe, and had it down in Louise, saw many of y'all. The Winterfield Day is always the last full weekend in January, so 6 months apart. And in 2025, there were about 4,400 entries on Summerfield Day, and that got all 85 of the ARRL U.S. and Canada sections, as well as 35 entries from 20 countries outside. So obviously it's a big event every year. Ham radio participants been active in the Summerfield Day for decades and decades. And as I mentioned, in 2022 is the latest results I saw. It's about 2,500 entries, so a little over half of the entries in Winterfield Day versus what normally goes on in Summerfield Day. This is K5LK with TechNet number 26 on the Crossroads amateur radio. Now, you see the objectives are really kind of quite different. The Summerfield Day is a contest. I mean, there's no doubt about it. We're always focusing on how many contacts I can make and how many points. So again, it's to contact as many stations as possible on the 160 through 10 meter HF bands, as well all bands 50 megahertz and above, and learn to operate in abnormal situations in less than optimal conditions. We're over on the objective for the Winterfield Day. This is not a contest, it's an experience. They call it an operating event. It's a multi-objective event. Primary objective is to set up your amateur radio field station and successfully make multiple contacts. The research that I've done here and I've participated in the Katy Club over the last couple of years, and it's definitely more informal, more of a social event, but also you want to try to make contacts in as many different ways as you can as well. So I want to keep that going. The big difference here in Southeast Texas, I just had to check it and see. Our average temperature in the last weekend in June is around 90 degrees in Southeast Texas and a lot more humidity. And the best I could tell from the Weather Service, we averaged the last weekend in January around 62 degrees Fahrenheit in Southeast Texas. So hopefully we won't have a big cold front or a snow, especially not like a Scott up in Jamestown, the kind of snow they've had up there this year. So it ought to be pretty good weather for us all. Okay, the next slide here, let me reset. This is K5LK on TechNet number 26 on Winterfield Day, along with Chuck and 5CHB and Bill, W5ITC, our net logger and net control tonight. And many of our TechNet team members, welcome them. So we got approval here from the Crossroads board a couple of weeks ago, and we've got a place reserved, and I'll go into the details here. Again, we're going to operate on Saturday, January the 24th. That's be 2 weeks from this coming Saturday, so it's coming right up. It's from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. That'll be our operating time. That's 6 hours. We'll start setting up around 8 a.m. setup, and we'll have 12 o'clock noonish. We will have lunch, offering a lunch. We'll talk about this in a little bit more. Also, it is in George Bush Park in West Houston. As our team got formed, we said, man, we got a lot of members of Crossroads that are in the greater Houston area. So we said, let's try to find a place. And The parks were not too busy that time of the year, and so we were able to reserve a spot, and I'll show it here in just a minute on the map. See here, we got a map of Houston. See the George Bush Park. It's over in West Houston. It's easy to reach. That's the pavilion number 1 that we will be at. And you can get to it from any parts of Houston. As I mentioned, a lot of our members were within 30, 40 minutes probably drive maximum of this park, especially on a Saturday morning. Again, George Bush Park, West Houston, is a very, very nice park. It's also right next to Scobie Field and the shooting center there. Well, a lot of hobbies are right in that area. And Joe, talking to him, one of our great members of the club, W5BSA, is going to be doing some model airplane things going on there, so we may interface a little ham radio and model airplanes that Saturday as well. Our repeater talk-ins will be on our 2 great repeaters in the Houston-Katy area, the 443-725 in downtown Houston and the 443-325 in the Katy area, so that would be repeater talk-ins. We will be monitoring out there if you need some directions. But if you just go to Google Maps, check George Bush Park. We're in pavilion number 1. It's very easy to get to. Our goals here from the Crossroads activity is, number 1, have fun and meet other hams. We really want this to be a social event. Maybe a lot of the hams on the network that you've talked to the last couple of years but never been able to meet, or you haven't been able to meet up at one of our breakfasts on the 3rd Saturday. This may be a great time for you to come if you can make it that Saturday the 24th. Definitely want to practice our outside operating skills for sure. That's one of the main parts of Winter Field Day. Also, we want to promote the hobby to the public. We felt like this is going to be a great opportunity, so having a little marketing publicity team to get out to people in the Houston area. Hey, you want to learn about ham radio, what it's all about, just come on by and have some hot dog lunch with us and maybe play a little radio. And then here's a big goal I think we have is we'd like more club members to volunteer. We've had quite a few over the last several years, but we could use more as we continue to expand some of our offerings to the members. So we will have opportunities for club members to volunteer Winter Field Day, and we'll talk about that in just a minute. This is K5LK for ID on the Crossroads Repeater Network, talking about Winter Field Day. The exchange is a little bit different. Our category is going to be O for outdoor, Oscar. And as of right now, we have 2 stations planned, and that may change, but as of right now, we're going to be 2O. And also, like the ARRL exchange at Summerfield Day, South Texas. And we'll be using our club call sign, Whiskey 5 Lima, Charlie Romeo, 2 Oscar, South Texas. That'll be our exchange. And the latest event information will be on our webpage. As I mentioned, Bill and some other folks, we got a Winter Field Day webpage, so if you just want to go to Crossroads, you can go to the main webpage, and then you can go CRHRC.org/WFD. We'll have updated information there all about Winter Field Day and the Crossroads activity. You can also email, it's like we do a lot, info at CRHRC.org, or you can contact me, Bill, K5LK. I got my phone number here that you can reach. I'll just go ahead and say it here. It's 832-510-3722. That's a secondary number I have here. You may have to leave me a voicemail, but I'll get back to you. 832-510-3722. These are our team leaders so far. Miss Brenda, KJ5ADO, is heading up our food. Thank you, Brenda. One of the stations is Chuck, our net control tonight, N5CHB. Thank you. The other station currently is Darren, KI5HVF. And as mentioned, I'll handle some of the publicity and the log submission. But as you see down here in the corner, there's definitely more opportunities for additional volunteers. So you will be hearing more about that tonight, and also in the newsletter on our Thursday night nets coming up the next couple of weeks. But we could use help in setup. We want to have a welcome table for sure, not only for area hams, but also just for the public, to help Brenda and that team on food, cooking. Got opportunities there. Then on the equipment, the antennas, the operating and the logging, the core of it, we'll have plenty of opportunities for people to help there. And then rigging down as well. So that's kind of the plan. And I will take care of the log submission and so forth and publicity. If you want to help on that, you're welcome to give me a shot as well. Okay, we already talked about the map. It's easy to get to. George Bush Park, Pavilion number 1 in West Houston. We'll just briefly talk about the event summary form. This is how we, give a call sign here, K5LK. This is the Crossroads Monday night TechNet number 26. We're talking about Winter Field Day. This is their event summary form, and you can see here there's quite a few objectives. I think it's got like 11 or 12 objectives, and you get multipliers for all these objectives. A little bit different than Summer Field Day, but all of them are pretty cool and relatively easy. So I won't go over it in any details, but, alternative power, we're operating from away from home, we'll get 3 points. Multiple antennas, we have some extra antennas we want to try, and we've talked about that. Satellite contact, so if Mr. Return to Base is available, or some of our satellite folks in the club, we'd be glad to have them. As far as traffic transmission and reception, WinLink emails, we talk about that. They're going to do a bulletin. Operate at least 6 different bands. That would be a great opportunity here. You get 6 multipliers. We may not could do 12 different bands, but if we could do 6, there's an opportunity. All the regular HF bands plus 6 meters, 2 meters, 440. Repeaters won't work, but if we do simplex, we can definitely get some points. Multiple modes. QRP, we won't be doing QRP, and operate at like 6 hours during the event. So we'll be doing that. So again, it's a social event, but have fun too. But we also want to try to score some points and practice our operating. And what you're seeing here is just a rough draft of flyer. They provide, the Winter Field Day Association provides a little form for a flyer. I'll put the Crossroads information in there. But we can talk about that later as we want to pass these out, maybe notify some of the local public officials, things like that. We can send that out. Okay, I'm going to go back over here to the front. We're going to go to the website. Okay, this is the Winter Field Day site. You can go to just winterfieldday.org. And I was looking here. They got a lot of great information, a little about the history of the club. They have currently 435 locations registered, which is pretty good, really is. And you just, let's see if I can do this. I can go on down here. Just going to click on to Houston. There are 3 locations in the Houston area. I think there's one up north, one up in way north, and then it's us. Let me move this one down here. There you go. You click on this one in West Houston, you'll see it. A little information that comes up about our club. It's got our website, the hours of operation, our contact information, the repeaters you work on. So if you just know how to get on a map, go to the winterfieldday.org site, click on the Houston area where there's at least 3 locations so far, and you can just see the latest in here. We'll be updating this as we get more information coming along. Okay, this is K5LK with TechNet number 26 for ID.
K5KTV net control.
KGB.
I don't know if y'all caught me on the Zoom, but he was talking about the locations. I don't know if they've registered. They should have, but Grimes County will also be doing field day just north of us in either Anderson or Shiro. And should be reachable to Snook Repeater that day.
Said what club was that?
Grimes County Amateur Radio Club.
That information, we'll include that.
And actually, I just got an update. They're doing it in Navasota. I'll forward the information as to where they're going to be doing it too after the meeting. K5KTV back to net control.
Okay, well, thank you there, Chris. If we could work them simplex, that will be awesome, to say the least. This is K5LK. I'll turn it over back to you, Chuck, and see if we got any questions or comments from the people online.
I wanted to take a short break to remind you of the great items available at the CRHRC merchandise store. Show your club pride by purchasing club-branded merchandise. Go to www.crhrc.org/merch. There is also a link in the description below.
Start out and say thank you, outstanding job. We sure appreciate you taking the time to put this together. This is Chuck, N5CHB, on the W5LCR repeater system with the Crossroads Ham Radio Club's monthly TechNet session number 26. At this time, we're going to open the net for any tech questions or comments specific to tonight's presentation. We'll take a few call signs at a time and then call on each of you for your questions or comments. Anyone with questions or comments regarding the presentation, please give your call sign followed by your name slowly and phonetically. Please come now.
Kilo Echo 5, Kilo Tom Victor, Chris, Houston.
Echo 7, return to base. Huffman, Texas.
Chris, KE5, KTV. And then I also got KE7, RTV, Andy. Anybody else want to have a question for us? We'll go first to KE5, KTV. Chris, what's your question tonight?
A couple of them. First one is, I think I was told to ask Darren, if I order one of the wide brim hats with my call sign on it, would it be possible to get brought to Winterfield Day? And then second of all, I talked to a couple of people to see, since I can't drive anymore and I'm about 15 minutes from the park, if anybody could pick me up that morning for Winterfield Day.
Thumbs up there from number 9 K5LK on the driving piece. Is that the thumbs up I saw there, Bill?
Yes, sir. Be glad to. K5LK.
Cool. Thank you, sir.
On the swag, do you have an answer for Chris?
This is KI5HPF. So the swag comes out of Victoria, Texas. So if you order it, there would have to be somebody from that direction coming up to Winterfield Day that would be willing to stop by there and pick it up if it's ready. They usually have a 2-week turnaround, so I would say you're probably still within that window to be able to order it and have it ready and just tell them to hold it if somebody's coming up from that direction. KI5HPF, back to the control.
That's cool. I appreciate it. If I hear from somebody tonight or in the morning that's going to be coming up from that way, I will place the order and get it in.
Or someone in the club, and we'll get it to someone down south and see if we can't work it up this way for you for the event. I grab it, but I'm in Sugarland.
Cool. I appreciate it. I'll place the order tonight or first thing in the morning. Appreciate the answers, guys. K5KTV, back to net control.
We appreciate you participating and you helping out with the club activities for sure. Next up is our friend Andy, RTB, K7 RTB. Andy, what is your question tonight?
Go 7, return to base. Well, one, you can volunteer me or voluntold me on the satellite aspect. I just had treatment today. Go downhill for 3 days, but I'll be good, I hope, on that Saturday. So you can count me early, helping out, and also trying to make a satellite contact. My question is, why do we only have 2 stations? I can bring a third station if needed and lots of antennas, so I'm just curious why we're only on two stations at this time.
Part of the planning committee, but I'm going to defer to Bill on this, someone that's a little more seasoned hammer than I am, and let Bill talk about it. But it had to do with just trying to make this a fun event without a lot of operation. But we also see along that line here, we've got Tree is asking about bringing a QRP rig, and I've also got Gary Gruber, KJ5HYX, also talking about another station. So, Bill, do we want to talk about that?
Yeah, will do. This is K5LK. Yep, will do. That is our committee right now. Is KJ5ADO, N5CHB, KF5HVF, and yours truly, Bill number 9, K5LK. When we first talked about it, this is going to be our first Crossroads event, Winterfield Day. And we want to start out small. But you look at their request, the Winterfield Day Association, they want you to try to be as efficient as the number of stations that you have, they don't want you to have a bunch of radio stations that are equipment, operating stations that are out there but not being used. So that's why on the deal here I put asterisk. If somebody wants to bring some other stations, we'll need to get together. I think that would be okay, but we just got to discuss it a little bit. You know, who's going to look after them, how are we going to find operators, and so forth. Did Darren, you want to add in on that, or Chuck, or Brenda? K5LK.
This is KI5HBF. Yeah, I think among the committee when we talked about it, just antennas, filters, ease of operation for the first go around of Winter Field Day. We opted for this just to 2 stations. I think that was the basis of our decision making.
CHB. This is our kickoff. This is our first one, and our thoughts were we just didn't want it to be a huge competition with people with their heads down and trying to win a contest per se. This was more about getting people out, helping them be familiar with the hobby, and then most importantly, getting to know each other, right? Getting to know the other members in the club, and so we thought this was a great opportunity. So that's our motivation, and we hope everyone comes out and has a good time. We can't keep you from putting a radio in your trunk, but I think that we should all support the overall goal here, which is to kick this off the right way, have a little bit of fun, see what participation looks like, and as we go into next year, we can take a completely different angle at this and try to do something different with it. So, N5CHB. Well, thank you very much for the question, Andy. We know you're a big supporter, and we sure appreciate you being out there. And you told us the next 3 days will be rough. We're with you in spirit and prayer, and you hang in there. And we look forward to you coming out and meeting you and seeing you at Winter Field Day. I haven't had the pleasure of shaking your hand yet, and I look forward to being able to do that. So I'm going to ask again: is there anyone else that has any questions that are related to Winter Field Day at this time? Please come now with your call sign twice, slowly and phonetically.
7RTV, K7RTV, Andy, Huffman, Texas.
Come on, N5CHB, KE7RTB. What's your question?
What are we using for logging for this one? And will there be a battery-operated station? Not on the grid.
10 is to have both stations battery operated. I know that the station I'm bringing, I will have my battery box and my solar set up for that. We'll have the other one set up as well. If not, Bill, are we doing generator on that one?
K5LK, yeah. That is a lot of the details we still need to talk about over the next couple of weeks. With power and things like that. So that is a good question. For your log, you need to be on all alternative power. You can't use the regular mains. So that's the plan we have right now. So back to you, Chuck. K5LK.
Well, thank you again, Andy. We appreciate that question. Does anyone else have any other questions for us tonight regarding Winter Field Day at George Bush Park? Please come now with your call sign twice, slowly and phonetically.
Kilo Alpha 9, India, Kilo, Kilo. Kilo Alpha 9, India, Kilo, Kilo.
IKK, this is N5CHB. Chuck, Net Control Operator, what's your question?
Chuck, and great net tonight. Great topic as it's coming up in a couple of weeks. One of the things I guess I was questioning is for the new hams out there, are you going to have like what they do in Summerfield Day? They have like a go-to station or maybe some people out there to help coach people that may not be familiar with HF operations over?
Up a little bit, and I'm going to ask Brenda and Bill to step in here and anyone else that's got any feedback. This is our first go-round with doing Winter Field Day, so It's going to seem like there's a lot of things that aren't tidied up, and that's because this is our first one. And what we didn't want to do is go out and set up a bunch of stations and have people not there to operate them, not have a plan in place. So our goal this first time out was simply to get set up to operate within the definitions of the Winter Field Day and to have a lot of fun. So as we take your questions down tonight and we start looking into these things, we'll address them, and then we'll get notes back out to the club via email and let you know as this tightens up kind of what to expect. So a big answer without a lot of minute information in it, but at least this has us down the right road toward what we're trying to accomplish this first time out.
Oh, yeah, that makes perfect sense, and hats go off to the club for putting this together. And like you said, you've got to start somewhere. So just get it there, and it really is a social thing too. Like you mentioned, for people to come out and maybe meet all the people that we talk to on the system and never really get a chance to talk to. So definitely try to be out there as much as I can. Thanks for running the net. We'll pass it back to Net Control. This is KA9IKK.
Thank you, Bill. KA9IKK. This is N5CHB, Net Control Operator. Yeah, I want to encourage everyone to come out. I promise you, we're not disorganized. We've held several Zoom meetings before this just to get us to this point. And, Crossroads puts a lot of love into getting this done right. And so that was our goal, was let's get a tent set up at the park, so to speak, and next year we'll work on the other tents kind of thing, right? So let's get this off the ground. Let's build the tradition. Let's look forward to year 2 and what we can do there. And quite frankly, I'm excited about it. So, Bill, thanks for your question. You're probably build number 11 at this point in time, and we appreciate you asking the question. Is there anyone else that has any questions regarding this upcoming Winter Field Day event?
Whiskey Romeo 5 Golf, Jerry in Northwest Houston.
Romeo 5 Golf, Jerry, thanks for checking in tonight. Do you have a question for us regarding tonight's net?
Just had a quick question. Will there be an official way that we can sign up for volunteering, whether it's set up, the welcome table, or tear down?
Question. I know we had talked about doing a volunteer sign-up sheet. I don't know that that's progressed yet. Let's do this. If you're listening tonight and you want to volunteer, why don't you send out an email to Bill, our fearless leader, and get a note to him, and we'll start getting it out, and we'll talk internally about what we want to do in terms of circulating a sign-up sheet.
Okay, is that build number 1 or build number 9?
Bill, would that be the best way?
Yeah, Bill. Hey, Jerry. Build number 9, K5LK. All great comments, and appreciate the question about helping out and volunteering. Yeah, we're still working on some of those things. And I was going to mention, Chuck, and everybody on the net, our team, Winter Field Day team, has a short meeting tomorrow night prior to our TechNet committee meeting. It's at 7:30, between 7:30 and 8, and it's on Zoom right now, zoom.CRHRC.org. Anybody's welcome to come and sit in and offer your comments, see what's going on, offer to help. That's tomorrow night at 7:30, and hang around for our TechNet team meeting at 8 p.m. tomorrow night, right after that. So I think we'll have some of these questions that have been come up tonight sorted out tomorrow night about a little more organization over the next few days. Jerry, does that help you okay?
That'll be fine, and if nothing else, I'll just wait until you guys actually meet and make a decision. I'm sure there'll be an email sent out.
There will, and we will also utilize our fabulous newsletter and the website, CRHRC.org/WFD, to get the latest information out. Back to net. Chuck, thank you, K5LK.
I just want to remind everything of the most important thing, and that is Miss Brenda is going to be on hot dog duty, and there will be hot dogs around noontime. So we can worry about how we're going to log it. We can worry about all those things, but the good news is we will have lunch. So we look forward to seeing everybody there. Well, this is Chuck in 5CHB on the W5LCR repeater system with the Crossroads Ham Radio Net, TechNet number 26. At this time, we're going to open the net for any amateur radio tech-related questions. As usual, we'll take a few call signs at a time and then call on each of you for your questions. Anyone with any tech-related questions, call now slowly and phonetically with your call sign twice. With nothing heard, we are now going to wrap up tonight's TechNet RF session. Remember that we will stay on Zoom for a RAG2 session after the net. All right, so I want to thank everyone that participated in tonight's TechNet number 26. Also, we want to give a big thanks to the TechNet team members who helped in making tonight's net a success. If you have any questions regarding the TechNet or would like to join the TechNet team, you can send an email to info@CRHRC.org. That's info@CRHRC.org. Again, please note that many of us will remain in the Zoom session for the general RAG2. I will now close the RF session of the Crossroads Ham Radio Club's monthly TechNet. This is Chuck in 5CHB, returning the repeater back to normal amateur radio use. 73s and good night all.
You have been listening to a TechNet presentation of the Crossroads Ham Radio Club. For more information on this club, go to www.CRHRC.org. For information on upcoming TechNets, go to technet.crhrc.org.